I think that the main trends is just continued consumer adoption. That's sort of still consistently happening. We've seen no slowdown in terms of new customer acquisition, and then that's kind of flowing through to the restaurant side of things, where again this year's been a really strong year for restaurant acquisition, and those two things kind of flowing in sort of parallel to each other: consumer adoption, more restaurants coming into the marketplace. That's really the kind of the overarching trend, and we haven't seen any slowdown in that. Menulog's just crossed over 16,500 live restaurants on the platform, which is getting up to a sort of a really big number, a big estate, and they're the driving forces. I think the other sort of big trend that we've seen in probably the last 12 months, compared to going back sort of say 2 to 3 years ago, the last 12 months I think we've really seen, both in terms of the industry and Menulog, we've seen a really big adoption from the major QSRs. So I think we've seen a couple of the big QSRs come into the market, really kind of come to grips with how they want to tackle home delivery and online ordering, and that's definitely kind of having an impact on the landscape, and I think that's good. It creates more competition, it creates some excitement and energy in the platform, and there's some of the trends that we're seeing. The other really interesting sort of trend in terms of what's happening from an orders perspective for us has been really substantial growth in the secondary cities. So of all the major capitals, Sydney and Melbourne have been big markets obviously, but we've seen incredible growth in Adelaide, Brisbane, Canberra, Perth. Those sorts of markets have been really terrifically strong during this year. I think the future for all of us in food aggregation and delivery will be interesting. It's a very topical industry obviously, and a lot of activity in the market. We're excited by that. We think we've got a really strong kind of position in this market. This year has seen great growth, so we're in a very healthy position to tackle the future. I think the sort of the things that we'll see, as I mentioned, more regional expansion. So that's definitely on the agenda. We've learnt that we can take the delivery service into smaller markets really successfully. So we'll look at where else we want to take that service through the course of next year. We'll also look at the product and the features on the product. I think our global company will no doubt sort of push through pretty substantial improvements in technology. I think we'll start seeing sort of richer personalisation. There's sort of deep kind of streams of work happening in all those fronts at a global level, and we're expecting to see that kind of materialise into product advancement for consumers during the course of 2020.